and welcome to Digital Charcuterie. My name is James Razile. This is our Star Wars talk segment. I'm going to do it whenever I feel like. I have a full channel dedicated to YouTube called Rebel Scum Podcast. If you want to hear Star Wars talk, head over there. Here we're going to do, this is more like a charcuterie board, like just a bunch of hodgepodge of you know, just an assortment of movie news and stories and commentaries on movie news and movies themselves. But right now I want to talk about Star Wars because a week ago I did a video talking about the new material we'll be reading about in the Last Jedi novelization, which comes out tomorrow. I pre-ordered my copy. Should be on my e-reader around midnight tonight. Looking forward to getting my hands on that and reading that and, you know, reading for myself what has been rumored or leaked or whatnot in the coming days. But one of those things that was mentioned was Reylo. I did that video last week on Reylo, and there was a lot of positive comments and a lot of negative comments, and I've done Reylo videos on my other YouTube channel in the past, both negative and positive, and I've done on the Den of Nerds YouTube channel, where it's highly more positive over there. So I want to just talk about Reylo as a whole. First of all, be civil, please, but in the comments, let me know, do you like Reylo? Do you hate Reylo? Don't say hate, but do you dislike Reylo? Are you on board with it or not? And why not? But please, again, be civil. There's different ways to look at it. Nothing has been confirmed by anyone necessarily, though the novelization would heavily suggest a Reylo factor. But what is Reylo? Is it shipping? Is it the Twilight talk? And I've talked to people in comments about this. I wouldn't consider it the Twilight talk. Yes, maybe on some level, at some point, the shippers did that in a way where it was, you know, the tween romance. But I think it really has evolved into something a lot more, a lot grander than just a guy and a girl being shipped. That's what I think it is. I think it is really impacting the Star Wars saga in a way we have never seen a storyline impact ever. We haven't seen this play out. But first I got to talk about Daisy Ridley. Apparently, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago actually, she debunked Reylo. She said that in her mind, that what happens over the course of the Last Jedi film, she says there's no way for a romantic relationship to evolve from there. These are her words, and this is what she said in an interview. I can't remember where it was written, but this is what she said. She says she doesn't think that could happen because of the way that he tries to manipulate her and whatnot. Then she came out and she said, I haven't spoken to J.J. Abrams about it yet, but she said there's always, it's nice, it's fine to see a relationship where, you know, two people can have a relationship that's not romantically linked. So on her level, I think what she's thinking is this relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren, their connection is strictly Force related, which is very intriguing on its own. We know that they have a Force connection. Snoke claims that he created this Force connection between them. Whether or not that's the case, we don't know. We have never met a character who has had the power to connect two minds like that in Star Wars, and now he's able to do this, and he says it's him doing it. I think, though, he was able to manipulate their Force connections because of the bond that they have with one another, and I'm curious to see if their bond plays out, aside from the Reylo factor, plays out any more in Episode 9. And the reason I say beside the Reylo factor is because I believe Reylo is not done yet. And when I say Reylo, I'm not shipping them as a romantic, strictly romantic couple, but I really think that Kylo Ren has some sort of feelings that he can't quite calculate in his mind for Rey. He has feelings for Rey that he's never felt towards anybody ever in his entire life. I think they're very they're familiar feelings in that they are similar to the feelings he has for you know, his mother. He does not kill Leia. He does not kill his mother, and I think there's a part of that where he feels with Rey. And I don't mean they're family necessarily, though I know a lot of people still think that they are brother and sister, and that, again, that's not off the table completely. I know some people say that's completely off the table. I would say nothing is off the table in terms of their relationship. I will say that for my opinion, when he tells Rey who her parents were and how she's nothing and all that, I think he's being 100% genuine in that moment. We have never met a Star Wars villain to lie in that moment. That is the third time we've had a moment. We've had it with Dooku, with Vader, and now with Kylo. And in each one, they've been completely honest about what they've said to Obi-Wan, Luke, and Rey. Although, obviously, we don't know how the Rey thing plays out just yet. That's where I'm feeling on that one. So I think the whole look, and in the Force Awakens commentary, J.J. Abrams hints at Reylo, and then in The Last Jedi, we've got to go to Rian Johnson here. We have to listen to what he said. Rian Johnson has said in the past that the interrogation scene in The Force Awakens was one of his favorites. He found it very, very intriguing. And he goes on to say that that was something he wanted to play off of in The Last Jedi. And we saw that in The Force Connections. There is something between Rey and Kylo Ren. His power grew, her power grew, because you can't have light side without dark side without light side. And they both kind of grew together to meet each other in the middle. What is the middle? I don't really know. It's those connections. There's something playing out. Look, for all the negativity towards The Last Jedi, towards the sequel trilogy that it's been getting, and I did a video on it again last week where I said, where's the continuity? The continuity seems to be set in Reylo, in Kylo Ren and Rey. The end game, from my perspective, is Reylo. Romantically involved, linked together, maybe not on her end, because Rey on the back of her mind might always have a spot for Kylo for whatever reason, because when they shared that moment in the interrogation room, something clicked. She saw something in his mind, he saw something in her mind, and now they're forever bonded. He obviously has feelings for her. It's hinted at in the novelization, which I'll be reading tomorrow, where he smiles when her pod lands, and Rey senses that his feelings between the light and the dark side are not the only conflict within, that she is also a conflict within. There is something, he says, who's the girl? There is something more with Kylo and Rey that we don't know. And this is what Rian Johnson has to say about Kylo Ren and Rey. He says, to write these characters, I always have to get inside their heads. I tend to step inside and have the most generous reading of any character's motivation possible. I'll say this. The moment when Kylo makes his appeal for her to join him, and Adam captured it so well in his little pleas, it was important to me that it wasn't a chess game. It wasn't just a manipulation. It's unhealthy, and there's so much that is awful about the way that he is manipulative. From his point of view, it's a very naked, open, emotional appeal. It's his version of, I'm just a girl standing in front of a guy. The same way as he tells his vision of the story with Luke, that's his experience of the moment. So it seems straightforward that Kylo Ren is completely honest about everything he says, but he has this tunnel vision view of the world around him. In what he says, I'm just a girl standing in front of a guy, you get, that romantic vibe from it. And he wants to lead with her. And Rey seems to be the key to Kylo Ren to Ben Solo's possible redemption. I am not on the redemption train. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not on it. I would like to see the villain stay the villain. I believe that episode 7, 8, 9, Rey is kind of a red herring to us, and Kylo Ren is our lead character. He is the focal point of this. It is a Skywalker saga. He is the last Skywalker, and that's what it is. When we went into 7, we're like, well, maybe Rey's a Skywalker. Maybe this is a Skywalker. We didn't know, obviously. Now we know. And if it holds true that Rey's parents were nobodies, which Kylo Ren, the villain has never been known to lie. I would take Kylo Ren at face value. I believe J.J. Abrams felt the same way, because Rian Johnson, as much as you can say, he scrapped J.J. Abrams' outlines, he didn't care about what J.J. Abrams did. I think he did. He wanted to tell his own story, like his own sequel to the story that came, which you have to respect in a lot of ways. You don't have to like it, but I think you have to respect it that he had a story that he wanted to tell based on what he knew of the movie before it. And in that, though, one of the agreements that they had is he said that he came out with the same conclusion to Rey's parents that J.J. Abrams did. So you have to think that episode 9 will not change Rey's heritage, that she did come from a couple of drunks who sold her for parts on Jakku or whatnot. So you take that, and then I would also take what Kylo Ren. So then you have to take what Kylo Ren says to her at face value, as well. And the end game being his redemption through Rey. Where does that lead? How do we get there? we get there possibly from Rey learning that Kylo was truthful to her. And she has sympathy for him. Like it or not, there's a piece of her that has some sort of sympathy towards him. She knows that he's the bad guy. She knows that how he wants to lead is wrong. But she has sympathy towards him. And he has conflicting feelings for her. So those two pieces, I think, will come together. And that's how we're going to play out in 9. And that's going to be the crux of their arc in 9. Now you throw Poe Dameron in there. And a lot of people are saying that there's a romantic relationship with her and Poe Dameron. Some people are saying Poe Dameron's too old. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the age difference between Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher can't be that much between Rey and Poe Dameron. So I wouldn't really argue on that front much. Whether or not it plays out, I don't know. But there's a reason why they meet at the end of The Last Jedi. Yeah, sure, they met in The Force Awakens novelization, and they are in scenes together in The Force Awakens. But we'll forget about that. But there's a reason why Rian Johnson decided to have Poe and Rey meet in this movie. It could be that Poe Dameron is completely Force sensitive. I don't know. I'm going to talk about that at Rebel Scum Podcast another day. So there's a lot to go on with Reylo. The fan fiction side, look, it started off, I don't know if it necessarily started off as fan fiction. When I started to hear about Reylo, it seemed more legit. It was early on still. I think it was in February of last year. And it was still early on. The commentary hadn't come out, but there had been leaks that J.J. Abrams, commented on a relationship. So Reylo, is it fan fiction simply, or will it play out in 9? Are Daisy Ridley's comments on par with the way J.J. Abrams feels that, okay, well, J.J. Abrams set up this Reylo factor, and Rian Johnson struck it down, and he said, you know what, too much crap happened. Reylo can't move forward. So now J.J. Abrams has to figure it out. For me, I think I've said this in my last week's video, I really feel if this is all ending towards a battle, what are the stakes? What are the emotional impacts of this end battle? Because right now, everything is so separate. I don't the First Order tried to attack the Resistance for the slowest space chase in the history of space chases, and that's played out. And the Resistance escapes, and so now they got to take on the First Order to rule the galaxy. But Kylo Ren is now the ruler of the First Order. Okay, so you're gonna have a giant battle, but where's the heart of that battle? Why do I care about that battle so much? Because right now I haven't seen the First Order do enough. I haven't seen the Resistance do much. There's nothing to really care. And look, whether you like Reylo or not, this emotional connection that they share, these Force bonds that they share, which I'm sure will continue on. This is the end game right here. The emotional connection between these two characters, if they want emotional connection, which I don't see why you always you need to know who the characters are and whatnot. And I really felt The Last Jedi didn't do enough for Rey for me. But they did enough for Rey with the Kylo stuff. So if you go that way, then you need that. And they can't just be Rey and Kylo based on nothing. We have Force connections, let's fight. There needs to be a stake there. And the stake could be the relationship they have, and now that Carrie Fisher has passed away and Leia will not play a role in episode 9, Kylo needs something. He needs motivation. He needs an emotional connection. He's killed his father. He's killed his master. He couldn't kill his mother, but his mother died anyway. And all he has left is Rey. Rey is the only one left that has any understanding of who Kylo Ren is. It's just Rey. And the end game has to be Reylo, whether it is 100% romantic Reylo or it is just Force connection Reylo. Reylo exists on some level, not the teeny bopper Reylo, but another one. That's the way I see their ending. That's how I see them playing out. That, you got to appease the fans sometimes, and that would be a way to appease them. Not the Reylo, but them having a battle at the end. We've been waiting now 3 movies to see. We got a tease of a lightsaber fight between Kylo Ren and Rey in one, in Force Awakens, sorry. But Kylo Ren or Rey really didn't know how to use it that well. She had her staff, so she kind of understood how to use a lightsaber, but she wasn't strong in the Force. And then the next one they have to team up, which I thought was freaking awesome. And now in the next one, they got to go head to head. I can't wait. What do you guys think? Is Reylo the end game for the Skywalker saga? Are you completely done with Reylo like Daisy Ridley's comments? Or do you think J.J. Abrams will continue it forward? Please, guys, give us a like and a subscribe right here to Digital Charcuterie. We got more movie talk, more Star Wars talk. I will be talking about that novelization when it comes out. Cannot wait. If you want to hear about Rebels and all that stuff, Rebel Scum Podcast is where you go for that. Also, check out the Den of Nerds, where a lot of you have come from there. So thank you very much. And thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It really, really means a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. And until next time, may the Force be with you.